Good afternoon. Thank you all for hopping on this call with us. Let's see, trying to get a sense of who we've got and if we're waiting on anybody. Looks like everybody that's on has connected. Looks like I've got 7 or 8 people that were on the list but not joined. Should I hold off for a
Uh,
couple minutes
I
and see if anyone
believe
filters in?
I believe Cyrus is participating at someone else's station, so he's able to
Okay,
see. He's just not connected to his thing.
gotcha. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I think that's everybody, at least initially. I will keep an eye out for anyone that joins as we go. But yeah, I guess to get things started, we did have a list of things just to kind of go over, just a few questions that the team wanted clarity on before we kind of dove too deep into things. So, mind if I run through that first? And if anyone kind of has any comments or has any additions, you can shout it out. But
Yeah,
Sounds
let's
good.
get the show on the road.
all right, sounds good. First of all, Jack reached out about the authorized net setup. I just wanted to check in with that, make sure that's all going well, see if anyone had any questions about that.
Yeah, I believe our bookkeeper emailed him directly with the credentials he needed for that.
Excellent. So I will mark that as done. Let's see. Subscriber lists. We'll just need an updated subscriber list sent probably early next week. Just wanted to remind you, just because I know you sent an initial one with the setup form, but we always ask for an updated one right before launch to make sure that we've caught anyone that has been added since then.
Sounds good. I'll get that sent to you.
All right, let's see. Our designer did mention that while looking at your current site, you've got a list where to find the leader, a page. Would you like us to set up like a similar directory of pickup locations on the new site?
Yes, please.
All right, so for that, we'll just need a list of rack locations if you've got that handy.
Yep, I can get that to you.
All right, sounds good. Let's see, classifieds. Our designer did have some questions about how your classifieds worked. You've got a lot of special like add-on pricing options. We just
Hmm.
wanted to see if you had like a breakdown of how the classified pricing worked,
It
in
sounds
terms
like
of
you've
like
got
plans.
most of these questions just for Kat. Would you mind
Yeah,
just
sure,
any questions you have, wait until after? Because we've got pretty much
sure.
everybody on the phone right now.
Gotcha. No
Okay, thank
problem.
you.
Yeah. So I guess if you guys just want to launch into whatever you had questions for us about so that we could filter some people out.
I'm not sure what kind of questions I was supposed to have. I thought you
Okay.
guys were going to be taking us through something.
Gotcha. So we just want to kind of jump into a brief training session if that's
Yes, please. Yeah, nobody,
gotcha,
everyone with
gotcha.
the exception of Lloyd, Cyrus, and myself have kind of an idea how the site works, but no
Okay.
one else does.
Gotcha. Sounds good. So in that case, I will hand it off to Vera and I'll just jump back in after we've done a quick run through.
Okay, I guess I'm going to do a general overview, and some of the things that I'm going to touch on will be a full focus training. I'm just going to give you a brief overview now, and then when we have the time for training that we set it up, we can go over different things. I know that there's going to be multi facets to the paper, and different people are going to be in different positions. So as you can see, I'm logged in as Kathleen. I'm using you. I'm sorry, but I wanted to make sure that if there's any hiccups or anything that I notice, that I can fix it before we even set a launch date or training or anything like that.
No
So,
problem.
so once you log in, you're going to get this black bar, and this is your editor bar. There's a couple of things you can do here. If you are going to be part of managing the design for the layout on the front, this right here is where you would go. It's going to bring down a menu here. I'm not going to go into it too much. This is one of those things that is a full training all by itself because it's very specific to different things that you want to do and changing things. And that way, if there are people here that shouldn't have access to this, they won't even have this as an option. So I don't want to waste too much time, but I just want to show you the different things. This right here, you could either click the name or the dashboard, and it'll take you right to the back end of the site. Before I go very far, everybody's is going to look a little different, but I want to encourage you to look for our logo here and there's a link. This will take you to our knowledge base. So anything and everything about your site is listed here. This below here, this is my direct email and this is my phone number. So if you call me, I will answer. If I'm in a meeting, I call back. Same with this. If you email me and I don't respond, I always respond. So if you notice that I'm not responding and it's an emergency, just put urgent in the subject line and I'll make sure that I make it a priority. But I just want to show you where to find my information, and that's right on the dashboard. So I guess the very first thing, we're doing extractions for your papers. So did you want to go over how to do an article so that way if you have a breaking news story that's outside the publication date, how to post? Did you want to start there?
That sounds like a great place to start.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right here to all articles. And then if you click here, this will bring you into, I think it's called the classic editor. Yeah, here we go. And there's a couple things here that you will use and some that you won't. If you notice that everything isn't structured or there's too much, you can go right here to screen options and uncheck things that you may not need. So you won't need the page builder. You don't need weight. Excerpt, we take care of that automatically. There's no discussion. Let's see here. Primary category, need that. Okay, so now we should have everything that we would need. All right, so this would be where your title or headline would be. This would be your body or content. If you have like something pre-written, you can just copy and paste. If you want to add photos, you can go right here to the media library, pick your image, and wherever your cursor is, that's where it will be. If you select your alignment, like right here, it'll word wrap. If this was a longer paragraph, you would see that it clearly would wrap. You could also change it. Let's say if that's the image, you have something better that you want to use, you should have the replace button. And let's say we want this beautiful little kitty here to take the place. Same thing, you change the adjustment and word wraps right here. An interesting thing about your photos, if you upload to the media library first, and let's just say this kitty here, if you put the caption right here in with the photo when you're uploading it, it will automatically go into the article. So let me go back and you'll see that that happened on the new article that we were working on. You'll see that the caption automatically pulled in. You see here, I guess it erased everything that I just worked on, but we'll just do it again. And there we go. So here's the caption. If there's a subhead, you can do that. Byline, let me show you one example. Daily catch. We could have it to where everybody puts whatever their byline is, or if you want to search by a directory, we do have a writer directory for your reporters or your editorial staff. So if I were to click on any story here, it'll show you who authored it. Let me see, Eloise Goldsmith, by clicking here. And then you should see a picture and any story that she's done. So it looks like she doesn't have a photo, which is personal preference. You do not need to have one to have the directory work. But this will show everything from the very first story that she ever posted to the most recent. If you like something set up like this, I would recommend starting here with byline, by whoever, and that way we can start the directory. If everything's formatted, it should be pretty cut and dry. We can get those activated right after launch and make sure everything's mapped. I did want to stress that the author and the byline are different. You may have somebody that's similar, that writes stories but also uploads, but usually this is a part of the staff, whoever approves or posting the story. It could be written by somebody else, but Kathleen's putting it on the website. So I just wanted to let you know that there is a difference in MemberPress standards. Breaking news, what that'll do is that'll add underneath on your homepage. It's going to have your masthead underneath of it. It's going to have red blinking or flashing breaking news and then a link to the story. It'll be like right here underneath the date, and it'll show, and it will be good for 24 hours. So it's going to appear in the breaking news category, but whatever the default is. So like if it was in arts and entertainment, for example, after 24 hours, it would remove from the top to the arts and entertainment. Tags are going to be for internal use. So if you're working on a story like election, you might want to do like hashtag election. So that way you can search it quicker. So that way, when you're going down the list of articles, you're not getting lost trying to find it. I'll go into that in a little bit. Broadcast options. So if it's a breaking news story, you want to get it out to your newsletter subscribers. I use this as an example all the time. We had a gas leak and we were doing an evacuation in downtown, and I wanted to reach as many people as I could. So I sent out a newsletter telling people to evacuate or avoid that part of town until the fire crews had everything under control. So that is a good example, or if you want to do election news or whatever you find is pertinent, you can just compose your article, send it here. It'll just send that article as a newsletter to everybody in your list. This right here, I'm sure we're going to get a feel for your categories, which should be behind a paywall and which should be free access. If it is behind a paywall, you want to make sure that it is checked to yes. By default, if we have a list of what should be paid and free, you will never have to touch it. But initially, until we can get everything instated, you just mark it here. Is it behind a paywall? Yes. Is it free? Then you would just mark no. Edition dates, that is good for your SEO and for your publication. So we already know you're going to have your HTML and your PDF archive searchable. This basically, anything that is affiliated with your publication, it's the date that it hit the stores or was available to your readers. When I used to publish, I would do it every Thursday. So my edition date would always be that Thursday. And that way we knew that that was part of that edition, even if it was digital only.
Hey, Vera, real quick. Lloyd's call dropped and he's not able to get back into the meeting. He's waiting for someone to let him in.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I should be.
The good news is this is being recorded, so he won't miss a beat. I
I'm
can't
back.
tell it.
Thanks.
Oh, there you are. Perfect. All right. I was going to ask because I didn't want to go too far ahead. All right. So we were talking about the edition date. And then this right here, if we have a photo, usually the first photo we add will be your featured image. Let's say you don't want the kitty and you have a picture of, let's say, an animal shelter or something you want to use in place of it. So you could just take a different image that may not even be part of that article. If you have a logo, we've had that happen. If they're doing a donation push or something like that, you could have a different photo and it doesn't even have to be part of this article. We do that a lot for columnists. They may have different photos, but they want to use their photo as the featured image. So that way, if you have a favorite columnist, you could follow them just by looking at the picture. Those are just some things to consider. That being said, any questions about creating a story? Okay, I'll just go ahead and move on. If there's any questions, you could always feel free to email me. I know that usually when we do these trainings, it's a lot of pressure and a lot of absorption because of the materials we go over. It's a lot to digest. And if you have anything, you can reach me anytime. All right, so now that we did this in what was called the classic editor. I'm going to show you something completely different that's going to turn that all on its head. This is called the block editor. I love it.
Vera, before
Sure.
you move forward, it looks like there was a question from someone in our marketing department.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're wanting to know if you could briefly go over how they would create ad space within a newsletter or email.
Okay. As far as ad space, that's its own training. But I can show you using here, let me go back. Hopefully it's saved where I was. And I'll show you it. You can add, of course, it just deleted everything. I'm sorry. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and pick a picture. Let's just say this is an advertiser. I'm going to click here and I'm going to link it to their URL. And so let's say this was a sponsored content or, they are just in this story for whatever reason. You can link it that way. But we do have in the ad training groups and ads that can function on individual pages or as article injections. So those are a little different. But if you just have one advertiser that is sponsoring just one article, this is the quickest way to do it. I hope that helps. Any other questions about that? I'm trying to play catch up because I didn't even know anybody was.
What if it was an ad outside of the article, like one that appears on our website?
Okay, again, that's going to be part of ad training, and that's part of that customized tool I was telling you about that not everybody would have the ability to do. The ad training takes about a half hour. I mean, if you want, I could switch gears and just show you that now. I just wanted to spare everybody.
Yeah, we can set up ad training specific to the advertising department after the fact.
Okay. I just wanted to try to maximize your time and answer any questions and then have time for Tyler to address anything. So I'll go back into this. The block editor right here, you can get to it by going right here. And this is one that I absolutely love because there's so much you can do with this. So this would be your headline or your title. This would be your body content, your subhead and your byline, and whether it's breaking news. Now, some of the things are going to be found on the right sidebar, like here's your featured image. This is going to be, all the area where you get a hyperlink to test it, or if you wanted to share it with someone without showing it to your entire readership. This would be where your categories would be, paywall, all of this that was on the right sidebar is still here. It's just, it looks a little different. Like if you're not using something like this here, you could just minimize it. And then if you need it, you can just expand it out. But some of the cool things that you can do other than just put your copy in, you can just copy and paste. It keeps the formatting. You could have individual headers. You could do a gallery in both, but it's easier with the block editor. See if I can do it here. All right, so I just want to see. So let's say right here, you wanted to make this a larger font. You can do that. I don't know where it's located anymore, but there used to be an option to drop cap. You could change the color and background of each one. You could do video. That's another thing. So if you are interviewing a candidate that's running in the election and you want a Q&A, you could actually have people look at them with their own voice and their own appearance in a short clip, just to make it more engaging and interactive for your audience. You can drop YouTube links in here. So if you have something like a high school band performance, they were going in, competing against other high schools, you could do that. Just a little bit of motion goes a long way, and it's really attractive when you put it all together. There's so much I could talk about this. I just want to go ahead and move on because there are other things to this, like you could do info boxes, shout out boxes, columns, tables, the works. But I want to be able to, for you to be able to appreciate it by concentrating on just that. But I can always go over that. Anything, like I said, is going to be in that knowledge base. And I'll also include links for frequently asked questions, basic training. So everything that I've covered that I couldn't go in depth to, there's instructions for it. I'm a doer. I have to do it physically. So in order for me to obtain it, I have to go through the steps. So if you are like me, this would be a great opportunity when I send you those links to go ahead and practice. If I need to set up a temporary staff so that way everybody can practice, I can. Or if you want to give me the individual emails, we can do that too. But I encourage you to explore. There's nothing here. I know it looks scary and it's different from probably how you're doing it now, but there's nothing you can do that I can't undo. You can't delete something and I can't find it. Unless you delete it completely out of the CSS, then I'm sorry. That's above my pay grade. I can't understand that too much. But we do have a wonderful team here that I lean on, that if I can't do something, they can do it for me. So not all hope is lost. So that's it for the article training. Let me leave out of here and go back to the dashboard. Now, before I start anything else, and I've got my messages up now. Is there anything anybody had a question about, or another direction that you want to go before I go over a little bit more about certain things with the articles? Okay. All right. Sure. Go right ahead.
Are you able to schedule articles to go out usually the day before? We will post them online and then schedule them to go out the day after.
Absolutely. And I thank you for that. That actually is right here. So if you wanted to publish it immediately, you could do that, or you could schedule it out. So I used to have my deadlines on Monday. I had to get everything to the printer by 5 p.m. on Monday. So I would have all of my stories all blocked out and ready to go and schedule them for that Thursday when the newspaper hit the stands. So yeah, you can definitely do that. So if I wanted to make this December 30th, I could. You can also do the time. Now it is military time, but it will work. You can save it as a draft. So that's one thing you can do is while you're working on it, let's say you're waiting for photos to come back, or if it's an election, you're waiting for the next tally, you can update people that way. You can save it as a draft. And then when you're done, you can just go ahead and click publish, and that will force it to go either as a schedule or as, publish immediately. So if you can do that, you could also go back into each story and update things too. And then this will turn into an update button instead of a schedule. Now, I have this for December 30th. Watch what happens. It says schedule. If it was today, it would say update. So if I wanted to change this text, for example, I would just hit update at that point. Any other questions?
No. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I just wanted to make sure and if I move quickly, I apologize. I just want to try to get as much crammed in as I possibly can. I think I've had too much coffee today, so that might also be a factor in it. So if I go too fast, please don't feel bad to ask me to slow down. I have no problem slowing down. All right. So the next thing I wanted to show you is your categories. So this may need to be called. A lot of these may not even be used. There's a couple of different arts and entertainments that I could see we could probably merge into one, but there may be a reason why they're separated. You might want to go through and just take a look and see what we have. Anything that has a 0, like this right here, there's no classifieds here. And I believe that's not part of the archival or imports. We don't have any of your older things. So this will be filled up as new things are added to it. Those can safely be removed, like arts, antiques, and collectibles. So for example, if that's an article category, you can just delete it out. If it's for your classifieds, you can just leave it right there. It looks like it's a hodgepodge of both, if I'm not mistaken. But we can work through this to get this to where it's easy to understand and go through. If you need to add something new, which papers grow and change all the time, and let's just say, here's a good one, unclaimed property. That is an insert that one of my papers do. Spring and fall, they list all of the things, unclaimed property and who passed away. And if there's any relatives, they can claim it. But you could have a category there. You could assign it. So like if that was under business or sponsored content or something like that, you can assign a parent. If it's by itself, you can just go right here to add new category and it adds it. This is also inside of the articles. So I'm sorry to flip back and forth too many times, but I just wanted to show you that it's possible if you haven't had a category before. If you go into categories, add new category, and then in the classic, it's set up the same way. So if you don't see your category that you're looking for, or if you've never had something, like when I was in my paper, I was there for 13 years. And the last 2 years that I was there, they decided they wanted to do a Lonely Hearts column or a personal column. So that was something that I had to add in. But yeah, that's how you would do it. You would just hit add new category, put the name. Is it a child category of something, or is it by itself? And then you would just hit add new category and be done. So I just wanted to show you that. And let me get back to the dashboard here. All right, so here, articles. Okay, we went over that. That's going to be part of a different training. I'm just trying to go over everything here. All right, so that's pretty much it for the article portion. Did you have another area that you want me to show you? Did you want me to go into newsletters next?
I'm just along for the ride. You're the boss.
Cyrus has a question real quick.
Well, we were really curious. We have one advertiser who has consistently done sponsored content on our website. And I think it's under currently news from local businesses, but the statistics for it are kind of key. And I wanted to find out if all that information will be transferred over from the previous. Does that make sense?
Don't believe that the stats currently will be transferred over. It'll pick up once it hits the system. Yeah, so if you have a report, so that way you could give him up to date. Trust me, I am always about, local advertisers. That was my bread and butter for the longest time. There's also some really cool things you can do with advertisers that I'll cover in the advertising training. But one thing I can show you, I brought up another advertiser who, another publisher who's established, and they do a lot of marketing. So all of the ad stuff is going to be found in Advertiser Pro. And if I go to manage adverts, I can get their stats and a lot more. So let me find one. Let's go right here. This is a house ad, but if you wanted stats on it, you could do that. So the first thing it's going to show you is today. This is all time. This is last month and this month. You also have this right here. But what I like is two different things in this area. So you could do a date range. So if you wanted to do the beginning of the year until now, you could do that, or just for this month. You could email your advertiser that CSV, and what it's going to do is—
Can I interrupt? I'm sorry. I was wondering, as you guys are exporting everything from the old site to the new site, can you export all of our current advertiser stats?
That was asked. Unfortunately, we can't. Yeah, so if you would have a report,
do that, and then
yeah. The only thing,
Michelle, we do have access to the server that may hold that information, Michelle, so we can go through it before launch if you like.
Okay. All right. That's it.
oh yeah, no worries. And like I said, I understand completely. They're big time. I spent a lot of time selling before I became a publisher. So I know that was my bread and butter for years, and it's still as important as it was then. So unfortunately, the only thing that we really import is images, articles, PDFs, and HTML content. There may be some things in between that I'm forgetting, but those are the main core things that we pull in. Anything outside of that realm would be development, and I don't know what all could be possible, if that makes sense, because that's above my level of understanding on that part.
Thank you, Vera.
Yeah, no problem. Anything that I can do to try to make this transition as easy and smoothly as possible, I will do my very best. We try to be as understanding and compassionate, because we realize this is a big change. You don't just up and move, unless you have a good reason. We want to make this a pleasant experience and show you what you can do and set you up for success. So even though there's a lot of things that may not come over, like the stats, you're going to gain so much more. One thing, even though we're in different time zones, I'm always available, and we do have 24-hour support for urgent priority things, like if your site goes down or something like that. You have somebody, 90% of the time it'll be me, that can help you and coach you or get you unstuck or reset your password, help your raters. I'm your girl. So I don't want you to think that just because something's a hard no right now doesn't mean you're going to have that type of expectation going forward. I like to think that we're pretty flexible. We try to hear our customers out and try to give you what you want and what you need for your readers. So I just wanted to get that off my chest, because I had a lot of bad experiences moving from site to site. And because of that, I think that's why I strive to try to make it better. But yeah, this would all be covered under the training that I'm going to do. I just wanted to give you a crash course. So that right here, this report that you can send to your advertiser. Let's see, I have it right here. And of course, it's going to open in another screen. What it will do is break down from when they started, if anybody's clicked on it, and it goes day by day. So if they did a year's worth, this will track everything. How many times it was on the site, how many people clicked on it, and it's measurable, and it's a good tool to use. I used to send that out all the time to my local people that were in. I used to do contracts for 3 months, 6 months, and a year. I also have my old rate cards. I know they're 5 years old, but if you need a platform for digital marketing and to see what you're capable of doing, I'm more than happy to send anything that you can possibly think of. Kathleen, can I ask you something? Did I send you a resource email with things that you can add to your site? If not, I can send that to you.
I don't think I've seen that come across, but yeah, that would be great.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, I'm going off topic. I just want to make sure that I get everything to you that you can look at with enough time to make a decision, an educated one, to see how the site can be used. Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of where to go. I guess we can go into media. That's going to help you with your articles. It's also going to be where you're going to upload ads, PDFs that may not be part of your e-reader. And let me bring up this customer here. And what I do for this gentleman is in public notices, he doesn't know how to do public notices so well. So what I've done is, let me see, is this one of them? I don't think it is, but I'll use this as an example. So this right here, this is actually an ad that he got from this advertiser. This is one that he put in. He's probably going to ask me to fix it because it's all blurry. But if you wanted to make that clickable, you can. And here is the entire thing. I did show him how to do that. And it's the same principle as inside of the article as you were doing for the advertiser. You would add your image and then link it to the URL. In this case, this is the actual image that is in the media library. And let me see, I think I put it right here. So let's go into media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tombstone that I saw. Oh, that must have been on another one. That must have been in this one. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting turned around here. So let's go right here. Let's say this was a public notice or an advertiser or whatnot. And you want, when they click this image, to make it larger, like a light box. You can go right here and everything has its own name and URL. So you can copy that. And when you go in to add your image and you click the pencil, you can have it linked to this here to make it big and like a light box like this here. Another thing that you can do is you can upload multiple things. So let me see if I have any pictures that I can use right now. Here's a couple. And don't worry, I'll take them down. So I'm going to use this young lady here that was from another story from another publisher. And you can just do that. And let's say you have a camera file of different things. You could just drag and drop them all, or just copy all of them and then just drag everything over. And you can rename it. You could put your caption. The description is not needed. Chances are it's probably going to be the same as what's in the caption. And then you're good to go. Inside of your articles, you can resize things. This right here, let's say if it was extremely narrow, let's say it was this picture here and all you got was the person in the middle. None of the other stuff came through. You can edit it here. If it's too narrow, it will have blurred borders on the sides to fill up that space. If you need to crop it, you can crop it. If you need to expand it or change it in any way, you can do it right here in the media library. Let me see if I have one here that I can use. Let's just use this one here. So let's say if you have an advertiser, I'm just going to drag this one in. Okay, this right here is an advertisement, and you want to use that within an ad. Once we go over the ads, if you have the images here, we can just link them right up to that image pretty quickly, and it'll take you probably maybe a minute. Sorry about my dogs. Sorry about that. We're getting a delivery, I guess. All right, so moving on. What I want to do is I also want to show you this right here. So this is a video of a local business that one of our publishers did. I must have the wrong one. Let me try this. Did it take? No, it's not going to take it. It might be too long. But anyway, what I did was I have this video here that I'm trying to add. Let me bring it over so that way you can see it. And the threshold for video is 256 megabytes. And you could actually do something like this if you wanted to do like a help for your readers. It'll show you how to log in, things like that. We have a couple of publishers that do that. If you have a podcast or a blog, you could have that and you just drag it from your desktop or from your phone. And as long as it is a .move or MP4, it will go. One thing to consider that the shorter you name your files, the better, not only for search reasons, but it also, the program for the media library, it just accepts smaller names for whatever reason. You don't want any spaces. You can have dashes and underscores, but that will help. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of with this here that would help you. But if you have anything that you need that you want to link to, so if I did a PDF of a public notice, for example, like the gentleman I was showing you, if you click the image, it could actually go to the link that's created when you upload the PDF of that public notice. So that way readers can see it in a light box. But I guess that's pretty much it for the media library. Any questions on that? I just want to make sure that I'm not going too fast. Okay, trying to think of what else I can squeeze in. I guess what I could do is I could do the newsletter just quickly, show you how to create one, and then we could always schedule more training. I'd be happy to go over everything. And I promise you it's not this chaotic normally, but you have my full focus always, and I'm always here to try to help any way I can. So what I did was I went on the menu bar and I went down, and it looks like a little envelope or a bookmark, depending on how you look at it. This right here is your automated newsletter. So let's just create a basic one. This right here will go as it's planned out. So if you have a newsletter that you have come out every Friday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or every day of the week, this is where you would do it. So you would go into automated, and then the first thing that is your configuration. So this would be what you want to name it. So this would be morning newsletter. Here we go. And then this is the subject. You want to make sure that you have a subject. So let's just say start your weekend plans with this week's special offer. So if this was like a sponsor content one, you could do that. All of the rest is generic. You want to leave it alone. It's set up that once this goes out, it's going to send to everyone. It's going to track the opens and clicks. This is your planning. You can send out an hourly, I kid you not, but you don't have to. If you go weekly, you can just pick the days that you want. This right here is a lot of fun. So this right here, if you have, let's say, a special section that you know that comes out every month, you could have it go the 5th Monday or the 4th Monday or whatever within that month, and it'll generate a newsletter to meet that standard. This right here is what time. And if you want a second delivery hour, just in case you don't think that they get it. This would be the preview. This will show you once it's all built, how it would look. So once you're comfortable with your settings, you would hit save. And then the next place you would go is your template. And what I'll do is, since we're going to be setting one of these up anyway for the newsletter, I'm just going to go ahead and fill out the skeleton and build it out for you. So the first thing we have is your header. I don't know if this is populated yet. It is. Okay, good. If you click the pencil and ruler, it'll open this, but by default, when you add something, it should automatically open. I'm just going to just do only the logo. And it's pretty small. So what we can do is we go here. Let's make that 900 pixels. And that should bring it up. That looks about right.
So the Google Analytics, will that, our Google Analytics essentially, because the URL will be the same, correct?
Yes, but you may see some indexing errors because you're going from your old host to your new. There's going to be like a slight interruption, but once it's, after time, it will go back to normal. But you may get some indexing errors just because Google's looking for places that's no longer available on your old host.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, sure. When we're talking about network advertising, I know my fair share. We have our own platform here, but if you're going to be using Google Ad Manager, Google AdSense, we can help you get that set up too. All we would need, I think, right after the site has to be launched is ads.txt. And the rest, Google kind of fills in where you're normally advertising Google ads. I think you guys are going to be using us too. And we could always go into that with whoever is going to be involved with the digital ad network. I can meet with them and go over the specifics there. Any other questions about network ads? Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and build this out. I'm going to put a separator here underneath, and let's make that black. Okay, and because there are still some things, I don't see that there's going to be a block here. It says custom post. That's what you're going to use to bring in your content. You pick categories. Let me see if she has hers turned on, and that way I can show you what it looks like. Like I said, a lot of these things are usually cleaned up at launch or after, shortly after. Yeah, it looks like she doesn't even have a newsletter that we send out to, automated anyway. So what I could do is I could show you, let's do a new newsletter. I'm not going to do anything like that. I just want to show you what the button looks like. You may come with, this is just for an independent newsletter, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's see, here it is. This is the button that you want to look at. And what this is going to do is it's going to ask you a few questions about your content. So everything is not a post, it's considered an article. How many articles do you want within your newsletter from each of the categories? You could have 10. You could also change your variants. So this is one column variant. If you want 2 columns, you'll see the content side by side, like so. Here's where you would come down and you would pick which categories you want your readers to see. And then you could have different things. So like if you have this first block, you want this breaking news, this will only be breaking news. Let's say the next one, you want local news, that'll only be local news. Or you could have a hodgepodge of all of them right here. It's up to you, and we can build it out however you need. But I'll cover that a little bit more in the training. But for this example, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the footer, and we don't need the logo down at the bottom, it's already at the top. This is where they're going to manage their subscription or unsubscribe from it. And it's also important because it's all there. It won't be marked as spam. It adheres to the local guidelines. And that's pretty much it as far as creating a newsletter. So this one still needs to be filled out as far as what content goes in it. When do you want it scheduled and what do you want to call it? I just created it because I know eventually you're going to have one, but I want to try to make it as easy for you as possible, because all you have to do now at this point is if you go to the automate it, you can just duplicate this until your heart's content and just fill them out with the various different newsletters. And because you have the newsletter plugin, there's no limit on how many newsletters you can send. Just, I think the emails that's where it gets a little dicey. I think you have, how many, is it 5,000 or is it more than that, Tyler, for the newsletter?
I think it's 2,500 a month.
Okay. Yeah, see, you know more than I do with that. I know there was a threshold, but I just didn't know how many. But you could also do a lot of cool things here if you've ever used like MailChimp or Constant Contact or a couple other ones. You can actually get your metrics here. If you want to go for stats, you can go here and it breaks it down by newsletter. So like that one I just created would be channel 1. And the only newsletter that you have right now, if it was active, it would list all the stats, what people are clicking on, the most viewed, that kind of thing. We also have a plugin called Matimo to where we can look at stats. We can see what people are using for their devices, their browsers, where they are in the country or in the world, what articles are they clicking on that are the most popular. And that usually, I get a lot of requests at the end of the year because they want to do a year in review and list the top 25 stories that were popular. That's always a possibility. But I think for now, I've crammed your brains with all of this stuff. I'm going to let you go with that. And I'm going to turn you over to Tyler so that way we can go over any questions. And I think anybody that's not, I guess, a part of the discussion for like managerial stuff, you know, if you want to schedule appointments with me for training, I'll send you a follow-up link so that way I'm accessible to you guys. Any final questions before I let you guys go?
Nope, I think that's it. Thank you, Vera.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. And before I let you go, Kathleen, I got a couple of follow-ups for you. So I'll talk to you after Tyler. You still
All
with us,
right.
Tyler? Oh,
I
good.
am. Yep. Was just finding my mute button. Yeah. Thanks for that, Vera. I did want to also correct, I misspoke earlier. It's 25,000, not 2,500 emails per month. So I was off by a zero. But yeah, I guess going back to my list, Kathleen, the question about classifieds, do you currently take payment for classifieds on your site? Or is that processed kind of externally?
No, we do not, but we would like to.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what I thought. We may kind of have some back and forth with our designer just based on how our classified intake forms work, because
Okay.
there were a lot of different options and variables that you currently included, and some of those might be a little tricky for us to code. So if you could send us like a breakdown of everything,
Yeah,
then we can
will
try
do.
and kind of outline how we can get that to best fit.
I'll get that over to you today.
Awesome. All right. Next up on the archives. So we did kind of have a question. I know we had asked you about that one section. I forget that
Was the
saved
events,
here.
I think.
It was the events and also the premium content, maybe?
Oh, yes, premium content.
Yes.
Lloyd, while you're on the call still, I didn't see anything in that tab on the back end of Creative Circle that we in the office publish. So I wasn't sure if that needed to be carried over.
Well, it's something that I'd like to be able to utilize. That way we can push both the combo and the online subscription. So it is something I want to keep.
Okay, yeah, I just wasn't familiar with any of the publishers to that content. I don't know if, yeah, we'll have to take a look at that when you're back in the office because it's kind of weird. Some of the stuff
Okay.
that's on there.
But along
I
those
haven't
same
looked at it,
lines,
so I don't know.
like basically all of those tabs in that section, if you can just tell us which ones do and don't need to be carried over. The only one that we've fully scraped was the stories tab.
Mhm.
So all of that's been moved over. But if any of the other tabs need to be focused on, just let us know.
Yeah, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but I did email James. I did
Yes.
hear from Bill. He sent
Mhm.
us a link that gives access to Creative Circle servers where our content is stored and
Right.
said that you folks would know exactly what to do with that link. So,
Yes. James let me know he looked at it. Unfortunately, since he's already done a scrape of some of the content, it kind of further complicates things to
yeah,
bring that link in. So he basically told me that just doing the same thing he's already done with any other sections that are important is the best way to go to
right.
prevent like duplicates, essentially. So,
Okay.
but yeah, just the tabs on that same page, just let us know what else we need to pull over, and we should be able to do that pretty quickly and
Okay.
easily at this point.
Perfect.
All
We
right.
just want to make sure we don't lose any of the current events on our calendar
Right.
and upcoming events, of course.
Right. So we will take a look and definitely get those as close as we can. And then let's see the Delta editions. You are correct that we are going to be extracting. So just upload those to the FTP, just like you're doing with the PDF archives, and let us know when the more recent editions have been uploaded, and we'll
Okay,
get those extracted.
sounds good.
All right. Double checking. Oh, Vera mentioned that you had brought up audio articles.
Yeah, that was something I thought we opted into. If it was missed, we want to opt into that feature.
Okay. Yeah, I did not have it on the fee schedule that we had last discussed, but I can definitely add it.
Okay.
It's just $75 per month. I just wanted to confirm with everybody that that was okay.
Yeah,
But
that was just because of our demographic and
sure,
the older community of subscribers we have, it seems like a feature we should offer to them.
absolutely. So I can get that added. And then the last thing, I noticed that there were a couple editions missing from the PDF archives. Just looking things over. So I
Only
just
two
wanted to.
out of all of them. Only two. And it's
Yeah.
from this year. It was May
What two?
21st and July 30th. Yeah, those were the only
Okay.
two folders that were empty. But all
Okay.
of the other stuff is there.
Yeah, I'll get those over to you, Vera, before I leave today. Yeah, we'll have those for you.
All right. Well, I think that was everything on my list. So did you guys have anything for me before Vera takes it back?
I did want to make sure, I know we spoke yesterday, Vera, but I think it probably came across a little bit confusing. The archives that we were going through, you what I meant when I said we only publish on Wednesdays, so there should only be Wednesday dates in the
Mhm.
archives, right? Okay,
That's
cool.
right.
I just wanted to make sure that didn't,
Yep.
look like July had something like 15 weeks or something in it when really it was just on a date different than when we published. Mhm.
Yeah, we can fix that. I think that was the HTML because we haven't imported any of the PDFs.
Oh,
All of
got
the
it.
ones that
Okay.
I was looking at has Wednesday's dates. So as soon
Got
as
it.
you said that, I knew exactly what you were talking about. There were
Okay.
some that were outside of the dates or in addition to the files that were for the PDF. But like I said, those were like ads and revised pages and things.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're good there.
Mhm.
And that's part of the good news that I have for you. I am currently working on 2020 and that leaves 2019 as far as the archives go. And I should
Okay.
be done that by tomorrow.
Nice. Oh, wow. It's getting down to the wire.
But I tell you what, though, I mean, I was able to get everything reformatted so you didn't have to worry about it. And I'm going to have Christopher double check it. And then once everything looks good there, at least you know that's done. The only thing you'll need is any new content coming forward. I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
last one we had was October 21st. Is that right, Tyler?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
anything
that
after
would
that.
have been, let's see. Yeah, because I'm looking at November. Yeah, that would have been the 22nd and the 29th. So any content from those two publication dates, we can get to you.
Yeah. If you want
However
to
you
just
need.
send them with the two missing ones, I'll just put them in there. That way, when he
Okay.
does the import, he can do those too.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah. I just figured it was worth mentioning. And then anything after that, like for next month, hopefully we'll have the training sessions done and a person assigned and, we can get your new content up.
Yeah. And
But
I'm pretty sure so I was going back and forth with James regarding the simple circ integration and weighing the different options. He gave me two options, option A or option B. I think because we've never been able to exclusively do all the things we needed to do with subscribers on our website, we would like to go that route. So folks, we just don't want to bounce between different softwares to do different things. We want people to have the comfort of knowing they can do all of it at our website.
Okay.
If
I
that
can
makes
let him know.
sense. Yeah.
Yes, I believe so.
I'll email him too.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page about that.
Sure.
We like simple circ, but there are things that it can't even, like it currently can't do that I think would be
Right.
better served on the site.
Sure.
All right. Well, cool.
All right. Yeah, I guess last thing, just wanted to confirm a couple details in terms of timeline. Your service agreement ends on the 8th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we were looking at possibly launching on the 6th. Just, it'll be kind of a slow process at the beginning of next week to get
Yeah.
everyone trained up. But does that sound good as a target?
It does. We
Okay.
also have the flexibility of kind of extending it out another week if we need to. Bill
Okay.
was clear to me on the phone yesterday that we would be charged only for what we continue to do on the site. So if we
Okay.
need to continue to use that while people are being trained, that's fine. I would prefer that the staff are comfortable with using it and have
Right.
all their questions answered before we just spring
Right.
it on them.
Definitely. That's always a good call. But good to know that there's some wiggle room if we need it.
There
So
is.
I will let the team know about that. But yeah, we were looking at the 6th. That seems very doable at this point. I think we've got most of the pieces in place, and a lot of the things like that list I mentioned are kind of flexible aside from the archives. But since
Nice.
there is some extension there, we could also pull those later.
And my one last question. How close are we to being able to achieve that look of our current site with the new one? We don't want folks to be too surprised, but
Right.
they're going to notice new features, new things.
Right.
But we're trying to keep the design as close to what we currently have as possible.
Yes, I did notify our designer. He's going to take a look at things. I think he was kind of holding off as the archives were being imported. So
Right.
now
Okay.
that all of the content is beginning to kind of come into place, he's going to get the categories cleaned up first. That's what he's been working on the last day or so.
Got
But
it. Okay.
yeah, I will let him know to do another pass. But if you notice anything specific that isn't there, just let us know. We can always
Okay.
make changes, as we go.
Sounds good. And I can also do an export of current active classified ads on our site if that would be
Okay.
helpful. So folks, when they visit, can find that ad that they were looking for a couple weeks ago or
Sure.
something. I can get that over to you guys too. It's a text file. Is that okay?
Yes, that's perfect.
Vera?
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Great.
Perfect. Wonderful. That makes me happy. I can also do the same with the calendar events. I think we might just do that instead of, mentioned that there was no need to use the server link for Creative Circle. So I'm pretty sure we can pull events the same way.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to export those events in a text file, I can definitely see what we can do with that. And
Wonderful.
like I said, one way or another, we'll find some way to get things carried over.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know it's been kind of a pain in the neck with the lack of communication between, us and Creative Circle. When I tell you I didn't expect to hear from him, I mean it. He called me
I'm
yesterday at
a
like
little
the
surprised
11th hour.
myself. Yeah, we try and make sure that we can help because we don't want you to feel like you're ever in that situation. So just
Yeah.
anything we can do, feel free to reach out. But yeah,
Well,
I
thank you.
guess next steps, if you want to go ahead and look things over tonight, let us know by tomorrow. We'll send you a checklist of everything that's remaining on the list, just so
Okay.
you've got some action items, and then we'll reach out to your team. Have anyone email ops if they want to schedule further training. I know this was kind of a crash course today, but it's really the best way we've found to do it with so many people. But any kind of one-on-one sessions people want to put together, or small groups, we're happy to do that as well. And
Okay,
yeah,
terrific.
we'll
Onboarding as well too. So any new staff you have, you won't have to train on this. We can do it for you.
right.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate your help and time today. I'm sure we'll have more questions for you as we get closer.
I'd be
Absolutely.
surprised
Well,
if you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, one
All
thing I
right.
wanted to let you know before we let you go is about the audio articles. So for that $75, you're not just getting the conversion from your articles. You have an option that if you wanted to do a podcast and farm your articles to Spotify, Apple, iPod, whatever, all of the major platforms, you can do that. It's all included. The only thing we would need to do is set up, it's called Buzzsprout account. So that way
Okay.
the converted articles can be sent out to the different platforms. But we could talk about that a little later. It would also be great for your marketing team because you can include ads before and after on the podcast episodes. And you can actually do it in audio articles. So like this audio article is sponsored by PT Leader or whoever.
Nice. Okay.
You can do that. But we can talk about that more. I just want to let you know those are some features that are included in it. So, and now
Perfect.
that you really want it, you have the potential of actually growing your marketing too. So, but
Nice.
that's everything I had. I just wanted to get that in there one last time. So.
Nice. No, thank you. And then we're also wanting to add that RSS feed for one of our Merle fellow reporters that
Okay.
will be contributing through the rest, I think mid next year. So yeah, we'd like to add that too.
Okay. Yeah. All we would need is the RSS feed link, and we shouldn't have any problem doing that. Are you
Is that
guys going to be
something
using
we
like?
would generate or?
I think it's off of whatever website that they have that they're putting
Okay.
their post up.
Okay.
It's basically their URL, and then I think it's like 2 forward slashes and then RSS or feed
Okay.
or something like that. It's really easy to do.
All right. And I can
get
reach
you the
out.
instructions.
They may already have that on hand. So I can reach out to them and get that sent over to me.
Yeah. Anything you need to integrate, like if you use Friends to Follow, that's again another embed code that we would need. We could just put it on
Okay.
your site. YouTube, if you have a playlist, we would just need the playlist code and we can just put that on there too.
That was the other thing. So we don't typically do anything regarding socials, or at least linking people to socials from our site. So the Facebook, X, and YouTube icons should probably be pulled down. I'm just preemptively asking because I know Lloyd will ask me to ask.
That's not a problem. I can pull those down right now. That's not an issue. It's super
Wonderful.
easy. Yeah,
Well,
anything
thank
like
you.
that you see and you notice that shouldn't be there, or you don't use, or and are not going to use, let me know. I can go ahead and make it happen.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
Oh,
I
my
appreciate you
pleasure.
guys. Vera, thank you. And we'll be in touch over the next few days.
All right.
All right, thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Kathleen. Have a
Have a great
fantastic
day.
day, guys.
You
Take care.
too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.